PeteCalendarShow.com, the website. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm good. Do you want to start in the West or the East?
Wherever you would like. I follow you, Casey.
Okay, well, let's start in your neck of the woods.
All
So the great Asheville police exodus rolls on, and now you guys are getting some national pub for that. What happened?
Really, it is about time, I thought. Really, we have lost now about a third of our police department, and a couple of weeks ago, the APD put out a statement saying, hey, we're not going to send cops for this list of service calls. Like, we're just not going to send a uniformed officer. So we've got this handy online tool so you can just go to the website, file a report for, I think it was our favorite. We discussed this, the assault before it happens. If you know that there's an assault that's going to happen, you can go and file a police report at that point, as well as, petty thefts and interactions like that don't require a police officer to show up and fill out a form. So they need the cops because they're trying to solve crimes, and so they need them to do investigations. Because they don't have enough investigators. So they're going to move all the cops over there. So finally, we got our due, and the New York Times covered this story. And I am kind of surprised. Usually whenever we get national coverage in North Carolina, usually for something bad that the Republicans did, we usually see a whole bunch of people that are like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the national attention that we're getting. We're a laughing stock, and we're an embarrassment. I'm not seeing any of that for some reason on this story, which is really weird. It's almost like there's some dynamic that's missing or something. I don't get it.
Well, you guys got the pub for the reparations, didn't you? I mean, wasn't that the last thing to kind of go viral nationally? Look at Nashville, they got reparations.
Yeah. Well, they vote now. They didn't get reparations. They just voted to create a commission to examine it and issue a report. It's been a year, by the way. It's been like a year. Isn't that amazing? Funny you mentioned that is that there has been a development in that not that there's money yet, but that. There is a project that they were doing, an affordable housing project that they put up a bond and had people approve it, and they were going to get ready to do this project. They're about 6 months from inking the final contracts, and apparently in a committee meeting last week, a couple of council members said, hey, let's not do this now. Let's just take the money and put it into the reparations fund. And
okay,
so that's
all right. So that's what that $2 million is about.
Yeah. So that's what all of that's about.
Well, kind of piggybacking on that, did you see the story earlier this week about how Durham's going to be handling some 911 calls?
I did not.
You're going to love this. So the Durham City Council set aside $2.8 million in the city's budget. This was approved Monday. And they were going to create a 15-person community safety department. It will consist of researchers, nurses, and social workers. And rather than sending police to some nonviolent 911 calls, they will send this team or some sort of assembly of this team of researchers, nurses, and social workers. Those calls include mental health situations.
Oh, yeah, that's smart.
Do you know what the call was in Boone during that horrific where 2 deputies lost their lives? Do you know what that initial call was?
I believe it was a mental health check. Yeah, I believe it was.
Yeah. So
well, that's
that.
It's so
alarm systems going off. Because most of them are not burglars, but if they are, then social worker can deal with that.
It really is a perfect encapsulation of the problem with this entire topic. It's Monday morning quarterbacking, right? It's people who are looking at a story after the fact and then trying to reverse engineer the proper response, what should have happened. This is the way it should have been done. And it's like police stopping a car on the side of the road, and how many of those things go south very quickly, right? I mean, you don't ever know in those circumstances, and trying to pretend like you could make these decisions on the front end, it's hubris. And I think a lot of people are going to get hurt when they start sending social workers out for mental wellness checks. And, oh, look at that. It's some crazy person with a knife. And now they stabbed, 4 of these workers.
Well, and here's the thing. I have no opposition at all to having a robust way to deal with people look, police officers have a
Right.
certain amount of training, but it's along a law enforcement perspective.
Right.
When you're dealing with somebody, especially somebody, Durham had that. They've had a couple suicide by cops that were pretty high profile. Where getting a mental health counselor in there, that may have been the difference. Unfortunately, it went in a different direction because at the end of the day, if somebody's got a gun, or in this case it was a pellet gun, but it looked real, officers, there's this continuum of force, and they're there to do the best that they can, but ultimately at some point, deadly force will be exercised in certain instances. I have no problem with that.
Right.
It's sending some guy with a clipboard and a counselor out to a mental health crisis. I wouldn't wish that upon those people, the people who will be hired for this position, due to the danger level, because they don't have the training should things go quote unquote hands on.
Yeah.
And yeah.
No, I agree. I'm all about sending somebody else out there too with the cop. I'm not all about sending them out there in lieu of the cop.
Right. Yeah, well, we'll see. And again, I don't wish anyone a tough time here, but I feel like the writing's on the wall here. All right, so yesterday, as we head eastward from Asheville and to Durham and now to Raleigh, Joe Biden showed up. Joe Biden had quite a day yesterday, didn't he? It was a busy day, man. During the whisper infrastructure thing.
I don't understand that. What was going on with the whispering? What is going on with all the whispering? I don't get, did somebody tell him that this is an effective means of communication, or is it something that he's just now doing more than he used to? Or I think we've talked about this. I'm not trying to be nasty or anything, but I do have some now real concerns about his cognitive abilities. I really do. And I'm and I'm not saying that to be partisan or hackish or anything. I have concerns. And when I see more and more of these types of clips, I mean, he did a twofer racisty thing with the quote about the Latinx and the Tuskegee experiments. Like I don't understand why people are just kind of whistling past the graveyard on this stuff.
Well, I mean, to be fair, that yesterday was all about F-15s and nukes.
Right.
So, I mean, it's quite the smorgasbord this week. But let's get to so the whisper thing was part of his infrastructure presser, which took place in D.C. And in fact, it went on so long he was actually a little late getting here. So Biden shows up. He goes down to the Green Road Community Center. And he is met by the governor, Mandy Cohen, who was making some gaga eyes at him.
Ugh.
And, she wanted her hair sniffed, man.
Did you?
I'm convinced of it. Totally convinced.
Did you watch the governor's speech, though?
Oh, yeah. William Barber sitting there. He got his acknowledgments.
Did you like the complete descent into game show host territory? You, too, can get $1 million. The whole make sure you get into the vaccination lottery pitch. He's not good at hyping a crowd. He's just, stay in your lane. Read the teleprompter. Be the boring guy. It served you well because, he comes off very goofy. Yeah, no, I would agree with you there. But when you're in a room and you're speaking and then Joe Biden's speaking. Well, yeah. You are the more dynamic. Yeah, you're just by default.
You look really, really, really smart,
right.
You really got it together. Let's get to those two cuts. I've got them separate here. Because we're going to talk about them, and I'm sure others will play them, but it didn't get a lot of press. I haven't heard any of the more traditional news reps pointing these things out. And I'm sorry, especially when we get to the Latinx, or I can never pronounce it, portion of this. CNN would be having an absolute aneurysm right now. Right now, A block all day. That's what you would hear from these two cuts. But since it's Joe Biden, you're not going to. Let's start with the first part of the statement.
There's a reason why it's been harder to get African Americans initially to get vaccinated, because they used to being experimented on. The Tuskegee Airmen and others.
What?
People have memories. People have long memories.
I love him talking about memories. to conflate the Tuskegee Airmen, a point of pride, with what the Tuskegee experiment, which was horrific, and people should know about both, where you essentially envelop black men who have syphilis to not inform them, and you literally provide them doctors so the doctors lie to them, and that's just the tip of what is so problematic about that. To conflate those two just because they both have the word Tuskegee, it's kind of an issue.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard a lot of pushback there. So.
No 5,000-word think pieces about how Joe Biden's conflation of those two, that somehow is representative of white America's lack of understanding of the black experience. Nothing like that so far. It's kind of surprising.
It's literally probably the best CRT argument you could come up with. Just put that on a loop, man.
Right.
And the fact that while he's saying it 10 feet in front of him is William Barber.
Right.
Staring up at him. 10 feet. Can you imagine if William Barber was saying 10 feet from Trump when he'd have said that? Well, you never see that guy move so fast.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and I'm curious. Has Barber spoken since?
He's very busy.
Very busy. Well, he's busy usually speaking, and so I was wondering if maybe he has spoken about it. Maybe somebody could ask him, "Hey, what'd you think of Joe Biden's conflating the two Tuskegee things?" And I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I'm just pitching story ideas because I know newsrooms always looking for story ideas. It's always important to have lead generation. So. I'm a giver.
Well,
I'm a giver.
This is their morning show of choice too. So I'm sure.
Rightfully
so.
Rightfully so.
Yeah, but I would suspect that the buffet slayer will not be fed those questions. So probably.
Now you can say that. You can say that. I can laugh at that. We're allowed because that's Do
you not know what we call him on the show?
No.
We call him Reverend Soul Glow the Buffet Slayer.
Oh,
I've called him that for 10 years. We have the Soul Glow music. Do I need to get the Soul Glow music out? Damn it, I'll do it.
How do you even still have a job?
What?
No, I've heard a lot of different of names. I generally don't do it. I'm no good at it. I'm no good at assigning the names for people like that. I'm not good at it. So I don't ever do it.
The guy is a master class of grift.
Oh yeah,
and I would argue that he has been one of the most damaging, just due to the amount of influence that he exercises, one of the more damaging from everyone get along from a political standpoint figures in the state of North Carolina for years.
Definitely. Well, and to his credit, right, he resuscitated a Democratic Party that was just hollowed out from scandal and electoral losses, and he played the role that the Democratic Party and the media, but I repeat myself, needed him to play for the Moral Monday. Or during that Moral Monday time, because had he not been around to do it, the Democratic Party was not capable of mounting any kind of a real challenge to the Republicans that were ascendant.
Yeah, my beef with him has always been what happens when he seems to get a hold of a story. Mm-hmm. And.
Oh yeah. He's an obvious. The grift is obvious, and there's no better video than I saw. It was during the Moral Monday stuff. He's in the legislative building. He's having a discussion with one of the sergeants at arms, the Capitol Police or whatever, about how he's just simply there to talk, and you could tell the way he's smirking at the officer that he knows exactly the play that he's performing. And
he's very good. He's very good at what he does.
Yes,
no question.
Yeah, it's just incredibly divisive. Yeah,
there's too many people that will stomach it though,
right?
And I think that you have to and look, you have to push back with this is absurd. Mm-hmm. The idea that all of these folks are going to go down there and occupy a Capitol. Don't even get me started on the comparisons there. Only to have literally hundreds and hundreds of cases just thrown out, mm-hmm. which we're seeing repeat itself over and over again, mm-hmm. Is mind-boggling. It is a gigantic double standard. And in many cases, it's its own good old boy network.
Yeah,
it's just the modern day version of it, and it's very problematic. I got to get to the second cut because real quick, here is Joe Biden, and this is the second half of right after he got done with the Tuskegee conflation.
It's awful hard as well to get Latinx vaccinated as well. Why? They're worried that they'll be vaccinated and deported.
3% of people of Latin heritage actually think that term's okay. But the idea that you decided that people of Latin heritage are also all illegal, or at least suggested it.
Well, and
holy cow!
And I guess he's going to be the one deporting them. It's his administration. Maybe he forgot that too. I don't know. Like, dude, you're in charge of this. Why would you be deporting people? And also, why would you be vaccinating them first and then deporting them? Well, why would you?
You tried to do a solid, man.
That's right. Do you give them the one shot? Bad. I guess you're going to do the J&J shot, right? Because you can't do the 2 dose unless you're going to like dose them and then wait 3 or 4 weeks and then give them the second one and then deport them. It's just bizarre. But also, more fundamentally, I thought it was Republicans that weren't getting the jab. I thought the right was to blame for our low numbers.
Well, That's just if you read the news there, Pete. Come on, man.
Right. I've seen a lot of virtue signaling directed at the right from the left over the refusal to get vaccinated and all of this stuff. Could it be that all this time that their ire has actually been or should rightfully be directed towards minorities? Is that what the Democrats have been doing? That they've actually been chastising BIPOCs?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know, and we're going to have to leave it there because I'm looking at my clock. It's almost as if there are pockets all over, but that would be too weird. Like PeteCalendarshow.com, PeteCalendarshow.com. You want to hear more of Pete, and we appreciate it, sir. We'll talk next week.
All right, man. Thank you.